Right now, in this very moment, you lack nothing. I know that may be hard to believe. I know your mind is racing with worries about tomorrow, replaying conversations from yesterday, calculating what you don't have, measuring what you think you need. But I want you to hear this truth. Let it sink deep into your soul. You lack nothing. Not because your circumstances are perfect, not because every need is met in the way you expected, but because the Lord is your shepherd, and when the Lord is your shepherd, lack becomes impossible. Not in the way the world measures abundance, but in the way heaven defines completeness. So take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Release the tension you've been carrying in your jaw, in your neck, in your chest. You've come here seeking rest, seeking peace, seeking to quiet the noise that drowns out the still, small voice. And that voice is speaking to you now, whispering the same words David heard thousands of years ago. The Lord is your shepherd. You lack nothing. Over the next hour, we're going to journey together through some of the most beautiful, most comforting passages ever written, the Psalms. These ancient songs have brought peace to troubled hearts for millennia. They've been whispered in prison cells and sung in palaces. They've comforted the dying and strengthened the weary. And tonight, they're for you. So settle in, get comfortable. This isn't a time for striving or performing. This is a time for receiving, for resting, for letting truth wash over your weary soul like cool water on a hot day. Let's begin where David began, with the shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. Picture that scene. Not with your anxious mind, but with your spirit. A shepherd, strong and gentle, leading his flock. Not driving them, not forcing them, but leading them, going before them to places of rest and nourishment, green pastures. In the Middle Eastern desert where David wrote these words, green pastures weren't common. They were rare, precious, carefully found. The shepherd had to know where they were, had to plan ahead, had to lead the sheep through rocky paths and dry valleys to reach them. But when he did, when he did, the sheep could finally rest, finally eat their fill, finally stop striving and simply be. That's what God does for you. He knows where the green pastures are in your life, the places of true rest, true nourishment, not the false rest of distraction and numbing, not the empty calories of entertainment and busyness, but real rest, deep rest, soul rest. And notice, He makes you lie down. Sometimes you're so anxious, so driven, so convinced you have to keep moving that He has to make you stop. That's what's happening right now. He's making you lie down. He's brought you here, to this moment, to these words, to finally stop and rest, beside quiet waters, not raging rivers, not crashing oceans, quiet waters, still waters, waters that reflect the sky, that allow you to see clearly, that refresh without overwhelming. Your soul is thirsty. You know it is. You've been trying to quench that thirst with so many things. Success, relationships, achievements, distractions, addictions. But none of it satisfies. None of it truly refreshes. Only these quiet waters can do that. He refreshes my soul. Not just your body, though rest does that too. Not just your mind, though peace does that too. Your soul, the deepest part of you. The part that knows truth when it hears it. The part that was made for communion with the divine. That part is being refreshed right now. He guides me along the right paths for His name's sake. You've been worried about the path ahead. You've been anxious about decisions, about directions, about whether you're going the right way. But the shepherd knows the path. He's walked it before. He knows where the cliffs are, where the predators hide, where the safe places are to rest for the night. And here's the beautiful thing. He guides you along these right paths, not because you've earned it, not because you're so good at following, but for His name's sake, for His reputation, for His glory. Because He's a good shepherd, and good shepherds don't lose their sheep. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Notice it doesn't say if you walk through the darkest valley. It says even though, when, because dark valleys are part of the journey. You don't get to the green pastures without going through some valleys. You don't reach the mountaintop without traversing the shadows. Maybe you're in a dark valley right now. Maybe that's why you're here, seeking comfort, seeking light in the darkness. Maybe you're facing something that terrifies you, an illness, a loss, a betrayal, a failure. Something that feels too big, too dark, too overwhelming. But listen to what David says. I will fear no evil. Not because the valley isn't dark, not because the danger isn't real, but because you are with me. The shepherd doesn't send you through the valley alone. He doesn't watch from the mountaintop while you struggle in the shadows. He walks with you, through the darkest valley, through the deepest pain, through the most terrifying moments. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod, a weapon of protection. The staff, a tool for guidance. Both in the shepherd's skilled hands, both used for your good. Both bringing comfort because they remind you that you're not alone, you're not unprotected, you're not without guidance. Sometimes God's rod and staff don't feel comfortable. Sometimes His protection means closing doors you wanted to walk through. Sometimes His guidance means redirecting you from paths you wanted to take. But even then, even when you don't understand, there's a deep comfort in knowing you're being watched over, cared for, guided by someone who sees what you can't see. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This is remarkable. In the middle of the battle, in the presence of those who oppose you, who want to harm you, who celebrate your struggles, God prepares a table, a feast, a place of abundance and honor and rest. Your enemies don't get to determine your provision. Your critics don't get to limit your blessing. Your circumstances don't get to define what God can do for you. Even there, especially there, in the midst of difficulty and opposition, God spreads a table. He invites you to sit, to eat, to be nourished, to be honored as His beloved child. You anoint my head with oil. In ancient times, this was a sign of honor, of favor, of being set apart for a special purpose. God doesn't just tolerate you. He doesn't just put up with you. He honors you. He anoints you. He declares that you are chosen, you are loved, you are His. My cup overflows, not just filled, not just enough, overflowing, more than sufficient, abundant, generous. This is the nature of God's provision. Not stingy, not barely enough, but overflowing. Maybe your cup doesn't feel like it's overflowing right now. Maybe it feels empty, cracked, dry. But that's why you're here. To let God fill it again. To remember that even when you can't see it, even when you can't feel it, His goodness is pursuing you. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, not your mistakes, not your failures, not your sins. God's goodness and love, following you, pursuing you, chasing you down, all the days of your life, not just the good days, not just when you have it all together, all the days, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is your destination, this is your home, not someday far off, though heaven awaits. But now, right now, you dwell in His presence. You are home in His love, and nothing can separate you from that. Take a moment and breathe that in. Let it settle. The Lord is your shepherd. You lack nothing. Now let's turn to another psalm. Psalm 55. This one is different. This one is raw, honest, painful. Because sometimes the spiritual life isn't peaceful green pastures. Sometimes it's crying out in desperation. Listen to my prayer. O God, do not ignore my plea. Hear me and answer me. Have you prayed prayers like this, desperate prayers? Please God, hear me, don't ignore me, answer me. David did. This man after God's own heart, this great king, this psalmist, he knew what it was like to feel unheard, to wonder if God was listening, to need an answer so badly it hurt. My thoughts trouble me and I am distraught because of what my enemy is saying, because of the threats of the wicked. Your mind won't stop racing. The thoughts come in waves, relentless, exhausting. What they said, what they did, what might happen, what you should have done, what you're afraid will happen next. It's overwhelming. It's distracting. It steals your peace and your sleep and your joy. David knew that feeling. He's giving you permission to acknowledge it. You don't have to pretend everything is fine. You don't have to put on a spiritual mask and act like you have it all together. God can handle your honesty. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen on me. Fear and trembling have beset me. Horror has overwhelmed me. This is what anxiety feels like. This is what trauma feels like. This is what depression feels like. Not just a little worried. Not just a bit sad. Anguish, terror, horror. These are strong words. And David uses them because sometimes that's what life feels like. If you're feeling this way, you're not alone. You're not weak. You're not failing spiritually. You're human. And God sees you. He knows. He understands. I said, "Oh, that I had the wings of a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. I would flee far away and stay in the desert. I would hurry to my place of shelter, far from the tempest and storm." Have you ever wanted to just escape? Just run away from it all? From the responsibilities, the relationships, the expectations, the pain? David did. He fantasized about flying away like a dove, finding some quiet desert place where no one could find him, where the storms couldn't reach him. It's okay to feel that way. It's okay to want a break, to long for escape. But here's what David discovered. Running away doesn't solve it, because you take yourself with you. You take your thoughts, your fears, your pain. The desert looks peaceful, but loneliness has its own terrors. What you need isn't escape, it's refuge. Not running away from, but running to. And there's a difference. As for me, I call to God, and the Lord saves me. Evening, morning, and noon I cry out in distress, and He hears my voice. 3 times a day, every day, David cried out, not once, waiting for one dramatic answer, but consistently, persistently, faithfully. Morning, when the weight of the day ahead feels crushing. Noon, when you're in the middle of the battle and wondering how you'll make it through. Evening, when you're exhausted and the darkness feels heavy, and God hears every time, every cry, every whisper, every groan too deep for words. He rescues me unharmed from the battle waged against me, even though many oppose me. You are in a battle, you know it, you feel it. And it's not just external. It's internal too. The battle in your mind, in your emotions, in your spirit. The voices that tell you you're not enough, you'll never change, you're too far gone, it's too late. But God rescues, not might rescue, not could rescue if you do everything right. He rescues. He's doing it right now, by bringing you here, by speaking these words over you, by reminding you that you're not fighting alone. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. This is the answer. Not escape, not denial, not numbing or avoiding. Casting, deliberately, intentionally. Taking every burden, every care, every worry, every fear, and placing it on God. Giving it to Him. Letting Him carry what you were never meant to carry alone. And what does He do? He sustains you. He holds you up. He gives you the strength to keep going. Not to be unshaken, but to not be ultimately shaken. You might tremble, but you won't fall. You might bend, but you won't break. But as for me, I trust in you. This is the choice. In the midst of the battle, in the middle of the storm, despite the fear and the pain and the uncertainty, I choose trust. Not because I feel like it, not because it's easy, but because you have proven faithful, because you are worthy, because I have nowhere else to go. Let's move to Psalm 61 now, another cry from a weary heart. Hear my cry, O God. Listen to my prayer. From the ends of the earth I call to you. I call as my heart grows faint. Do you feel far from God right now? Like you're at the ends of the earth, calling out and wondering if He can even hear you from there. Like your heart is growing faint, your strength is giving out, your faith is wavering. You're not too far. No matter where you are, no matter what you've done, no matter how long it's been, you're not too far for God to hear you. David was far. Physically distant, emotionally drained, spiritually exhausted, but he still called out, and God still heard. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I. This is what you need. Not more strength in yourself, but a rock, a foundation, a refuge that is higher than you, stronger than you, more stable than you. Because you're tired of trying to be your own rock. You're tired of pretending you have it all figured out. You're tired of being strong when you feel weak. There is a rock higher than you, and God will lead you to it. He's leading you right now. For you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the foe. Look back at your life, at the times you thought you wouldn't make it through, at the moments you were certain it was over, at the days you didn't think you could go on. You're still here. You made it through, and it wasn't because you were so strong or so capable. It was because God was your refuge. God was your strong tower. He's been faithful before. He'll be faithful again. I long to dwell in your tent forever and take refuge in the shelter of your wings. This is the heart cry of every human being, whether they know it or not. To dwell with God, to be sheltered by Him, to find safety and rest and home in His presence. Not just in heaven someday, but here, now, today. And here's the beautiful news. That longing you feel, that desire for something more, that ache for a peace that surpasses understanding, that's not random. That's not coincidence. That longing was placed in you by God Himself, and it can only be satisfied by Him. Then I will ever sing in praise of your name and fulfill my vows day after day. This is the promise we make when we finally find rest. When we finally experience His faithfulness. When we finally know, deep in our bones, that He is good. We promise to praise Him, to remember, to tell our story, to let others know that there is hope, there is help, there is a refuge. Psalm 62 brings us back to rest again. Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Truly, truly. David has to say it twice because it's so contrary to everything the world tells us. The world says your rest comes from having enough money, enough success, enough control, enough security. But David says truly, really, actually, your soul only finds rest in one place, God. Not in having all the answers, not in having perfect circumstances, not in having everyone like you or approve of you or understand you. In God, in His presence, in His love, in His faithfulness. How long will you assault me? Would all of you throw me down, this leaning wall, this tottering fence? Have you ever felt like a leaning wall, like you're barely holding it together? Like one more thing, just one more thing, and you're going to collapse? David felt that way. Under assault, from every side, criticized, attacked, undermined, feeling weak, unstable, ready to fall. And he's honest about it. He doesn't pretend to be stronger than he is. He admits his weakness, and that admission becomes the very thing that opens him up to God's strength. Surely they intend to topple me from my lofty place. They take delight in lies. With their mouths they bless, but in their hearts they curse. People can be cruel. They can smile to your face and slander you behind your back. They can pretend to support you while secretly hoping you fail. They can twist your words, misrepresent your heart, celebrate your struggles, and it hurts. It confuses you. It makes you question yourself. It steals your joy and your confidence and your peace. David experienced all of this. He's validating your pain. He's saying it's real, it's hard, it's unfair, and God sees it all. Yes, my soul, find rest in God. My hope comes from Him. Notice he has to tell his soul to find rest. He has to remind himself. He has to preach to himself. Because his circumstances haven't changed. The attacks haven't stopped. The lies are still being spread. But he chooses to return to rest. He chooses to remember where his hope comes from. You have to do this too. Again and again, day after day, moment by moment, reminding your soul where true rest is found, redirecting your hope from circumstances to the one who controls circumstances. Truly, He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will not be shaken. My salvation and my honor depend on God. He is my mighty rock, my refuge. Your reputation doesn't depend on what people say about you. Your worth doesn't depend on how others treat you. Your future doesn't depend on your circumstances. All of it depends on God. He is your rock. He is your refuge. And He doesn't change, even when everything else does. Trust in Him at all times. You people, pour out your hearts to Him. For God is our refuge, at all times. Not just when you feel spiritual, not just when things are going well, not just when you're in church or reading your Bible, at all times, in the good moments and the bad moments, in the victories and the defeats, in the clarity and the confusion, pour out your hearts. Don't hold back, don't edit, don't try to make it sound pretty or acceptable. Just pour. Let it all out. The anger, the fear, the doubt, the pain, the questions, the accusations. God can handle it. He wants your honesty more than your pretense. Surely the lowborn are but a breath, the highborn are but a lie. If weighed on a balance, they are nothing. Together they are only a breath. Human power is fleeting. Human approval is empty. Human wisdom is limited. It doesn't matter if someone is rich or poor, powerful or weak, famous or unknown. Apart from God, they're just a breath, here today, gone tomorrow. So stop giving human opinions so much power over you. Stop letting the approval or disapproval of others determine your worth. Stop measuring yourself by standards that mean nothing in eternity. Do not trust in extortion or put vain hope in stolen goods. Though your riches increase, do not set your heart on them. Wealth isn't evil. Success isn't wrong. But trusting in them is. Setting your heart on them is. Believing they can give you what only God can give. That's the trap. That's the lie that leaves people with everything and nothing at the same time. One thing God has spoken, two things I have heard. Power belongs to you, God, and with you, Lord, is unfailing love. This is the balance. Power and love. God has all the power, unlimited, unstoppable, and He has unfailing love, unchanging, unconditional. He's not a powerful tyrant who doesn't care. He's not a loving weakling who can't help. He's both, all-powerful, all-loving. And that changes everything. And you reward everyone according to what they have done. Justice will come. Not always in your timing, not always in ways you can see, but it will come. God sees everything. He knows everything. He misses nothing. And He will make all things right. So you can rest. You don't have to be the judge. You don't have to make sure people get what they deserve. You don't have to defend yourself or prove your innocence. God will handle it. Your job is to rest in His justice and extend His mercy. Psalm 142 takes us even deeper into the cry of a desperate heart. I cry aloud to the Lord. I lift up my voice to the Lord for mercy. Sometimes prayer isn't quiet and peaceful. Sometimes it's loud. Sometimes it's desperate. Sometimes it's crying aloud because you can't hold it in anymore. That's okay. God hears whispers and He hears shouts. He responds to quiet trust and desperate pleas. I pour out before Him my complaint. Before Him I tell my trouble. You don't have to pretend with God. You don't have to use fancy religious language. You don't have to make your prayers sound impressive. Just tell Him. Complain to Him. Let Him know how hard it is, how much it hurts, how confused you are. When my spirit grows faint within me, it is You who watch over my way. Even when you can't see the path forward. Even when you don't have the strength to take the next step. Even when your spirit is so faint, you can barely sense God's presence. He's still there, watching over you, guiding your steps, keeping you safe. In the path where I walk, people have hidden a snare for me. Life is full of traps, some set intentionally by people who mean you harm, some set accidentally by a broken world, some set by your own choices and weaknesses. But none of them are hidden from God. He sees every trap, every danger, every pitfall, and he guides you around them or through them or over them. Look and see. There is no one at my right hand. No one is concerned. For me, I have no refuge. No one cares for my life. This is one of the loneliest feelings in the world. Feeling like no one cares, like no one sees, like you're completely alone in your struggle. Maybe you feel that way right now. Maybe that's why these words resonate so deeply. But notice what David does next. He doesn't stay in that place of isolation. He turns. I cry to you, Lord. I say, you are my refuge, my portion, in the land of the living. You are my refuge. Not might be, not could be. You are, right now, in this moment. God is your refuge. He's the place you run to when there's nowhere else to go. He's the one who cares when no one else does. He's the one who sees when everyone else overlooks. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. This is honest prayer. This is real faith. Not pretending you're strong enough. Not trying to impress God with your spirituality. Just admitting you're in desperate need. Admitting the enemy is too strong. Admitting you can't do this alone. And here's what's beautiful. That admission, that vulnerability, that honesty, that's what opens the door for God to move. He doesn't respond to your pretense. He responds to your honesty. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Sometimes the prison is external. Circumstances that trap you, limit you, crush you. Sometimes it's internal. Thoughts that bind you, lies you believe about yourself, sins you can't seem to break free from. Either way, only God can truly set you free. And when He does, when you experience that freedom, praise becomes natural. It's not forced or fake. It flows from a heart that knows what bondage felt like and now knows what freedom feels like. Then the righteous will gather about me because of your goodness to me. Your story of God's faithfulness will encourage others. Your testimony of His rescue will give hope to people who are still trapped. Your freedom will inspire people who are still in bondage. That's how God works. He doesn't just rescue you for your own sake. He rescues you so your rescue can become a lighthouse for others lost in the storm. Psalm 91 is perhaps the most beloved psalm about protection and God's presence. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Dwell, not visit occasionally. Not drop by when you're in trouble. Dwell, live, abide. Make your home. This is about a lifestyle, a constant connection, an ongoing relationship. And when you dwell there, in His shelter, you rest in His shadow, protected, covered, safe. The shadow of the Almighty is the safest place in the universe. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. This is your declaration, your confession, your anchor. When everything else is uncertain, this is what you know. He is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my God, and I trust Him. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. The fowler's snare is a trap set to catch birds, hidden, subtle, deadly. There are snares in your life too. Temptations disguised as opportunities, shortcuts that lead to disaster, relationships that look appealing but are toxic. God sees them all, and He saves you from them. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. What a tender image, like a mother bird protecting her chicks. God doesn't just tolerate you. He doesn't just put up with you. He covers you. He shelters you. He pulls you close and protects you with His own body. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You don't have to defend yourself. God's faithfulness is your defense. You don't have to protect yourself. God's faithfulness is your protection. When accusations come, when attacks come, when temptations come, His faithfulness stands between you and harm. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. Fear tries to attack you at every hour. Terror at night when it's dark and you're alone with your thoughts. Arrows during the day when you're trying to function and serve and work. Pestilence in the darkness of depression. Plague at midday when you should feel strongest. But you will not fear. Not because the threats aren't real, but because God is more real. Because His protection is more powerful than any threat. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. This doesn't mean you'll never face difficulty. But it means you're protected in ways you can't see. It means God's hand is on you. It means even when everything around you is falling apart, you're being held together. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Justice will be done. You don't have to make it happen. You just have to trust that God sees, God knows, and God will act. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. No disaster will come near your tent. This is a conditional promise. If you make God your refuge, if you dwell with Him, if you stay connected to Him, then you're protected, not from every hardship, but from ultimate harm. Your soul is safe. Your future is secure. Your eternity is certain. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. You have invisible help, angels assigned to you, watching over you, guarding you. You're never as alone as you feel. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone, even in the small things, even in the daily struggles, even in the mundane moments. God's care extends to every detail of your life. You will tread on the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. You have authority over the enemy. Not because you're so strong, but because of whose you are, the one you belong to, the one who dwells in you. He has already defeated every enemy, and His victory is your victory. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. This is God speaking now. This is His promise to you. Because you love Him, He will rescue you. Because you acknowledge Him, He will protect you. Not because you're perfect, not because you have it all together, but because you love Him and acknowledge Him. He will call on me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. When you call, God answers. Not might answer, not sometimes answers, will answer. And He doesn't just answer from a distance. He is with you in the trouble, in the middle of it, walking through it with you. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. God's plan for you is satisfaction, fullness, abundant life, not just survival, not just getting by, but deep, rich, meaningful life. And ultimately, salvation, rescue, redemption, restoration. Psalm 139 is one of the most intimate psalms, revealing how deeply God knows you. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. God knows you, really knows you. Not the version of you that you present to others, not the image you try to project, the real you. The you that exists when no one is looking, the you that you barely understand yourself. That's the you that God knows, completely, fully, intimately. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. There's nothing you can hide from God. Not because He's a cosmic spy looking to catch you in sin, but because He loves you and wants to be involved in every aspect of your life. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You don't have to explain yourself to God. You don't have to find the right words. He knows what you're trying to say before you say it. He understands what you can't articulate. You hem me in, behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. You're surrounded by God. He's behind you, covering your past. He's before you, preparing your future. He's above you, blessing you, below you, supporting you, around you, protecting you, on you, guiding you. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. You'll never fully understand God, and that's okay. You don't have to understand Him to trust Him. You don't have to comprehend him to rely on him. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? This isn't a threat. It's a comfort. There's nowhere you can go where God isn't. No depth of despair so deep that God can't reach you there. No height of success so high that God isn't already there. No distance so far that you're beyond his presence. If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. In your highest highs, God is there. In your lowest lows, God is there. You're never alone. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. God's got you. He's holding you. His grip is firm. His hand is strong. You're not going to slip through his fingers. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me, and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. The things that terrify you don't terrify God. The things that confuse you don't confuse God. The darkness that blinds you doesn't blind God. He sees clearly in what looks like complete darkness to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. You're not an accident. You're not a mistake. You're not random. God created you, intentionally, purposefully, carefully. He knit you together, piece by piece, cell by cell, thought by thought, emotion by emotion. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, I know that full well. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Let that sink in. Not just other people, not just the people who seem to have it all together. You, right now, with all your flaws and struggles and imperfections. You are wonderfully made. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. God saw you before anyone else did, before your parents knew you existed, before you took your first breath. God saw you and loved you. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. Your life isn't random. Your days aren't accidental. God has a plan. He knows the beginning and the end, and everything in between. And he's working all of it together for your good. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. God thinks about you constantly. His thoughts toward you outnumber the grains of sand on all the beaches in the world. You're not an afterthought to God. You're not a burden. You're precious to him. When I awake, I am still with you. Every morning when you open your eyes, God is there. Every night when you close them, God is there. And every moment in between. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. This is the prayer of surrender. Asking God to search you, to examine you, to reveal what needs to change. Not so he can condemn you, but so he can lead you into the fullness of life he has for you. As we near the end of our time together, let's rest in Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Ever present, not sometimes present, not occasionally present, ever present, always there, always available, always ready to help. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. Even in the worst-case scenario, even if everything falls apart, even if the world as you know it ends, you will not fear, because God is your refuge. Though its waters roar and foam and the mountains quake with their surging, chaos can rage around you, storms can threaten, everything can shake. But you remain anchored, secure, safe. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her, she will not fall. There's a source of joy that flows from God's presence. It's not dependent on circumstances. It flows from being in the place where God dwells. And when God is in your city, your life, your heart, you will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Help is coming. Maybe not right now. Maybe not in your timing. But at break of day, when the night is darkest and you think dawn will never come, that's when God's help arrives. Be still and know that I am God. This is what you need most. To be still, to stop striving, to stop trying to control everything, to stop running yourself ragged trying to solve problems you were never meant to solve alone. Be still, rest, breathe, and know. Know that He is God. Know that He's in control. Know that He's got this. Know that you can trust Him. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. You're not alone. You're not abandoned. You're not forgotten. The Lord Almighty, the God who created the universe, the God who holds galaxies in His hand, He is with you, right here, right now, in this moment. And Jacob's God, the God of the struggling, stumbling, imperfect man, who kept making mistakes but kept coming back to God, that's your God too. The God who doesn't give up on you, who keeps working with you, who turns your mess into a message. As you prepare to return to your life, to your responsibilities, to your challenges, carry this truth with you. The Lord is your shepherd. You lack nothing. Not because you have everything you want, but because you have everything you need. You have God. You have His presence. You have His love. You have His protection. You have His guidance. And that's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. So rest tonight. Sleep in peace. Wake up tomorrow knowing you're held, you're known, you're loved. And whatever tomorrow brings, God is already there, preparing the way, making a path, spreading a table, anointing your head, filling your cup to overflowing. You lack nothing. Because the Lord is your shepherd, and a good shepherd never abandons his sheep.